Hi, I'm Sifu Kuttel, and in this video we're going to be going over a sword technique that is used mainly with the Jian. This is an overhand thrusting technique. We're going to do a couple of preliminary movements before that you can use to develop some dexterity with the sword as well as some mobility with the wrist and elbow. Now you may be wondering about the sword that I'm holding right now. This is actually a Han Dynasty Jian. This is the LK Chen Shield Guard Han Jian. And this sword, or what this sword is based on, goes back to the Han Dynasty about 2,000 years ago. Now, I previously made a video about Han Dynasty fencing swords. This sword, as well as this D-Guard Jian, these were used for fencing training as well as developing techniques for Han Jian that were actually used out on the battlefield. So I thought this technique fit very perfectly with this style of sword, especially because it involves a lot of fencing concepts, moving from if somebody's parrying, you can reposition or fling their blade away and then move in for the attack. So it doesn't mean that you have to use this sword. This is found in all sorts of Chinese martial arts sword forms, but I found that actually the sword works quite well for it. So grab your sword and let's go get to work. Let's begin by breaking this up into three very important parts: our sword stirring, setting our hand into position for the thrust, and finally the thrust itself. Now, while we're doing all of this, our other hand is going to be in a sword finger position, which is basically bending the ring and pinky finger in and then touching the thumb to the ring finger and then keeping the index finger and middle finger together. You don't have a scissor hand, we have a sword hand, okay, or a sword finger. Now, from here, let's begin with our sword circling or our sword stirring. This is a great exercise to develop that subtlety in the wrist, having better flexibility, having better mobility, and even developing grip strength and forearm strength and good positioning. So a lot of good things you can do out of just practicing this simple motion. Now it's good to practice palm up, blade flat, but you can do sword circling in pretty much any other direction. We can go clockwise, counterclockwise. We can have the sword straight up and down and do sword stirring. We can have the blade flat and do sword stirring with the palm down. You have a lot of different ways you can practice this. But for the sake of this video and this exercise, we're going to have the palm up and we're going to be doing our circle counterclockwise. Now, when you feel comfortable with this, you can practice moving around. This is a great way to get used to moving with it and getting the mind off of just focusing on what the wrist and the sword are doing. So get comfortable like that, and then we can move into our next phase, which is positioning the sword. Now, our thrust is an overhand thrust, and it requires our hand to turn completely over, from having our palm facing inward and our thumb more or less on the top side to our palm facing outward and our thumb down. So we do have to get comfortable with positioning and raising this sword up for a good thrusting line. Now, it is quite simple, and I have a very fun or a good way of practicing this one, and that's just simply to raise up the blade next to your shoulder on the opposite side and then return up. So here, our palm faces the same direction. It's facing towards the outside, and then once I bring it across, it's also facing this way. So I'm bringing the sword blade across in pretty much a U shape on either side of my head right here, just getting comfortable with bringing that up. Now, as you get more and more comfortable with this, we can add a little bit more of a snap to set it up and get some power into it, make it a little bit faster and ready for the thrust, because this is not something you want to take forever to do and leave yourself open and available for a counter technique. So this can either follow up from an initial cutting technique, you can follow up now with your sword thrust, or in our case, we're going to do a quick flip of the blade and then follow up with that forward overhand thrust. Okay, now, once you feel comfortable with that, we're going to start with our sword stirring technique, and then as the blade comes up, we'll flip the hand. So again, sword stirring, keeping the palm up. We're in counterclockwise motion, and then as it dips down and comes up, we get that hand ready to move into our overhand thrust. Okay, and again, you can practice walking with this one, setting it up, and then getting ready for the thrust itself. Now, when it comes to the thrust, we're not worrying so much about our arm putting in all the power. If we do this, we have a chance of hitting where we're not trying to hit, getting a sloppy hit. And if I push too hard in an area right here and I'm trying to follow the blade forward, I may end up pushing my blade and losing that actual piercing power. We want our hand behind that, and we want that blade to travel in a nice straight line when we're throwing this strike. So as we're doing this, don't rely only on arm strength. Once we come up here, the muscles get very taut. We're gonna take the slack out of all of the muscles and everything. So when we punch, if we throw with too much power, we're gonna get a really sloppy motion. So really from here, what we wanna do is make sure that we have a nice straight line towards our target and some extension here. But the rest of the work is actually going to come from our stance shifting forward, okay? And when it comes down to it, that's going to be what powers it. We have to have the structure behind to finish with a good final pierce. Now also, you can step forward with either leg to do this. It doesn't really matter on that one. For the sake of this video, we're gonna focus on keeping that dominant leg, that sword hand is gonna be that same side forward, okay? And then for our sword finger, we can put it just at the elbow. This is a more comfortable position. This may feel like too much of a stretch, and going behind may turn us back and change the trajectory of the sword itself. So what we're going to do is circle for one, get comfortable with it. After a couple of circles, we'll raise up and then thrust. Again, from our neutral position, we can circle, raise up, thrust. Again, nice and easy, sword circle, up, thrust. As you're doing this, we want to start focusing on accuracy, so it's good to have a target out. If you don't have a target that you can pierce with the sword, just have one in front of you that you're not going to hit. So once I raise up, I shift forward, I know if I've struck the target just by, if it goes any further, it'll be hitting it. Okay, so I'm going to intentionally miss and focus on certain areas of the target so that I can develop that accuracy. And then once I get comfortable with that, I can start speeding it up, adding more power, and I'll have some pretty good idea of how to use this one. And then of course the next step from there would be to spar with somebody, get safe fencing blades, and then work with it, drill with it. This circling, stirring motion can come from either a parry, or if the opponent is parrying your blade, to work with it and then follow up for a counter strike. But this all comes from that one single form, which makes it quite nice. All right, so there you have it. Now, I would say take the time to work on getting the preliminary steps into motion before just jumping straight into combining everything together. Sword stirring is essential training for Jianfa, or just your straight sword work when it comes to Chinese martial arts. It's a great way to warm up. And again, it develops mobility in the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, gets that flexibility there. And it develops grip strength because you're holding onto the sword and it's moving weight in your hand. Now, when it comes to positioning the sword, the better you can position before you strike means that you are going to have a more efficient strike and a more accurate strike. So it's very important to separate that as well, working from sword stirring into that preliminary position and then finally the attack itself. If you have the chance, get a partner, drill with a partner, make sure it's safe, not with a live-edged sword. And work on your accuracy, work on moving from different positions and different ways to start to set up for the actual final thrust itself. And you'll find that you'll be able to use this much better in sparring and fighting. So hope you enjoy this video. Like I said in the beginning, I think this is a great technique to be using Han Jian. That length really plays into this one. You get some good forward weight that helps with the sword circling. And if you want to check out this sword, I will leave a link down in the description below, as well as the other Han Dynasty fencing sword, and I'll leave a link to the video where I talk about these swords all the way back 2,000 years ago. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next.